before America could send a man to the moon and return him safely, America had to first of all send a man across the Rocky Mountains, the Continental Divide, and return him successfully. Long before America invented the telephone, the telegraph, and the teleprompter, America had to first of all depend on another great invention by Queen Athosa of Persia, invented in 500 BC. That was long time ago, in case you are wondering. Long time before the coming of Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and the world famous twerking. That great invention is today called snail mail. Snail because it crawls and creeps on the ground, and mail because it was used mainly by men to define and shape history.
Were it not for snail mail, were it not for the power of that great invention from Queen Athosa of Persia, my own story would have been lost or trampled upon like the story of many others who perished in anguish, yet they gave their best. They stood up in days of toil, they stood up in days of tears, they stood up in days when it was impossible, and they gave their very best, their dignity. And unfortunate, so fortunate that somebody took notice and made a little record of what I did. Someone took a little notice and gave me some credit. Thank goodness that person did. Otherwise, my history, my story would have been lost like every other history. But thanks to those footnotes, my history hopefully will touch someone and inspire them to stand up and work with dignity, with humility, and yes, with audacity. Ladies and gentlemen, come with me on a journey. A journey to a place called Camp de Bois. Camp de Bois is a tiny military outpost located on the eastern shore of the Mississippi River. In 1804, Camp de Bois is a makeshift military outpost designed and built just for the purpose of the Western expansion. Camp de Bois is man-made, thanks to Captain Meriwether Lewis. Every day, my master and I, we will head out into the country. We're scouting for young men who are brave, who are fearless, who are strong. We're looking for young men who have a skill, young men who are blacksmiths, woodsmiths, gunsmiths. We're looking for young men who have a talent, young men who can make a fire in a rainstorm. Every night we return to the camp. We spend the night, but every morning again we set out in search of more young men who can fit the bill that has been described by President Jefferson. We're looking for young men who can sew, who can stitch. We're looking for young men who are capable of making salt from seawater. We're looking for young men who are not just physically fit, but also mentally fit to go across the continent in search of the Western Ocean. Every day we are out there. Occasionally we get some good advice and we find one, but very often we don't find young men that meet that bill. We don't find young men that fit that description described by President Thomas Jefferson. So we keep on scouting. On one occasion, we go out there, we find a young man. He looks tall, he looks brave. But when my master asked him, "Can you tie a knot?" he said no. My master asked him, "Can you untangle a spider web?" He started to tremble. My master asked him, "If you cannot even stand the sight of a spider, would you be able to stand eyeball to eyeball with a grizzly bear?" Young men who are single and not too eager to mingle. I remember she was crying, "Don't go, don't go." I said to her, "No, I have to go. I have to work with my master. This is a very important expedition. We are going to the western side of the United States. We're going to the western part of the continent in search of the great ocean. This is a great commission by the President of the United States. She said, when you go, who will take care of me? Don't go, please. What if I am carrying your baby? How can you leave me alone? Choking back her tears, I held onto her and promised that if I make it back alive, I'll come look for you wherever you may be. I plead with you, let me go. I have to do my duty to my master. I can't fail. I can't fail. Touching that ivory comb reminded me of all those memories of my wife. And this hurt really bad. But I have to remember, I have to be tough. I am surrounded by military men, young men who have been newly enlisted into the army. I have to be tough. I have to get back to packing, the business of packing. Yes, we finished packing all that we need to take on the Western expedition. It feels good. The 14th of May, 1804, at Camp de Bois, at the place where the Mississippi meets the Missouri. Men, women, children are standing on the bank and cheering and waving at us. As we pull out from the dock, we begin to paddle our way with our oars upward, facing the current. Upward, we paddle. We're full of excitement. We're full of energy. We're full of expectations. And yes, a little bit of trepidation. For we don't know if we will arrive alive. We don't know if we will return alive. It's a journey of 1,000 miles that begins with just one paddle, with one step. We continue upstream. And after 2 days, Captain Meriwether Lewis joins us. Every day we are out there. We're looking for moccasins. We're looking for fur. We're looking for anything that we can find. And yes, trying to find a lot of bison. We need some meat to keep us going throughout the rest of the winter. And occasionally, we spend some time stitching, repairing all the items that we've been carrying along with us all the way from St. Louis. We spend some time taking care of our own needs. And in the evening, we dance. We dance big time. We dance like never before. We dance like nobody's watching. Oh yes. Private Crozat comes with a fiddle. And yes, he can play his fiddle like crazy. Every day, every night, he's playing the fiddle. He's playing the fiddle. Some whiskey in my blood, some whiskey in my head, some whiskey in my blood, it makes me happy. Some whiskey in my blood, it makes me happy. Some whiskey in my blood, it makes me wiser. Some whiskey in my blood, it makes everybody loves Sergeant, he loves Private Crozat's songs, and we all dance out. And I am the chief dancer because the Mandan people think that I am some kind of extremely fascinating human being. They all come around, the men, the women, they all surround me, the children, everywhere I go, they're coming after me. They think that I'm some superhuman being. And they give me a name, they call me Big Medicine. Big medicine, that means I am a war hero with special powers. I never felt special in all my life. But the Mandan people come after me everywhere. I am dancing every night like nobody's watching. I'm dancing, I'm having a good time. For the first time in my life, I felt like I'm a superstar. I have special powers.